Hello, hello. It's me, Cynthia, and this is our Sunday edition Magic Hour. Today, man, I was in a bad mood today. Real bad mood. You ever get like that where you're just not feeling it? Get in an argument, and then the rest of your day you have to kind of grin and bear it and make it where you fix your face. So I'm trying to fix my face into what my mom would say. She'd say, go fix your face. So I'm trying to do that right now. Let's see. I see my friends here. Hello, Diane. It's 12 degrees in St. Louis. That sounds cold. Oh, in Illinois, it's 3 degrees, Kathy says. Colite. I don't have a hot mug of hot chocolate, but I think I need to have that. Hello, Karen. Hello, Diane. Hello, Wendy. Thank you. That's nice if you just say, hey, pretty lady. Well, today I'm going to show some wax work. I have some things on the agenda here that I've been working on. I have several cases of wax work that have just been languishing in my kit, and I wanted to show some of that stuff. So I will do that. Oh, I see more friends are tuning in. Hello, my friends. Hello, Terry. Hello, Cherie. Hello, Pat. Hello, June. Nilda. It's cold in New York State. I bet it is. It's supposed to be cold here too, which is kind of a shame. I mean, it is a shame that it's cold because there's so many people that don't have, they're in the little trailers, from their houses being washed away. And those I hear are not that warm. So I am thinking about those friends who are out in the cold. I mean, it's not truly cold, but it's not warm either. Let's see. Hello, Queen Tut, Mary. Oh, so a lot of snow I see. Yes. Well, I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to switch this camera around. No need to be looking at me. Let's see. All right. So here's some works in progress I have going on. All right, let's see what I have. This is my latest. So I keep everything I have. This is for photos, and I have probably, I think they come in a 10 pack or something, maybe 12 pack, and they're stacked up in another thing, and I keep them in these things to kind of separate them. So this is my latest one, but usually I'll keep them in collections of things, like pendants are in one, but this is things that I've been fiddling with. Man, I've been fiddling with this one for who knows how long, probably as long as y'all have known me. As long as I've been going on live, this thing's been floating around, and I'll work on it every once in a while and then put it down again. These are part of game pieces, and I worked on this one. You can see its face. It's not Marty. I know everything is Marty, but this cat is not Marty. This is part of my cat game I've been working on. This is too. This one's Marty. Or maybe this one is. So that's the gray version, and then here's the little brown version of it. But you have to picture it as being brown. And then here's another one. This one will be white, gray, tan, brown, Marty colors. And then this one, maybe black. So you can differentiate them. Oh, this is the latest. I think you all have seen this one before. And I was trying to do a bear, and it was really hard to carve a bear. And so I've been fooling with this, trying to get it just right. So the bear is not perfect here. When I get it, I don't know. If that says Asheville to you, there's kind of an indication of a mountain in the background. But I don't know. Does that feel like Asheville to you? I don't know. But it's changed multiple times. So that's happening. This has been reworked several times. I was hoping to have this done by the time I went to Tucson, because you never know what you're going to be working on, or like when you're like at the airport and you get a yogurt and then you forget to get the spoon, and then half the time you're on your break, you're like running around hunting for a spoon. Well, I carry travel utensils in my bag, but I thought, man, wouldn't it be nice to have one that was more compact, or, I have one that's similar to this, but it's a little bit bigger. It's like this, and it's carved out of bamboo, and it's supposed to be like recyclable. It's an okay thing, but the tines on it are kind of dull, and the spoon is super wide, so sometimes it doesn't even fit to the bottom. So you kind of have to squeeze it to get, the yogurt cup to fit the bamboo one down in there. So that one, so that's why this happened. So anyway, I'm going to make this, and hopefully I can make it in something else. My son, Max, he is learning about 3D printing, and he's been 3D printing a lot of parts. Maybe he can 3D print these. I don't know. I think I need a scanner though. This is going to be a pendant that will hold. I'm going to try and put little divots or holes on each side down here so you can dangle things from it, but it's not done. Oh, I see Donna. Hello, Donna. Hello, Terry. Oh, an Alfred colored kitty. Yes, Terry, that is true. That would be Alfie. But if it were going to be Alfie, I'd have to make this a little more, how do you say, more plump, I guess, is the thing. Oh, Kalite says, cool how the space between the bear's arms forms a heart shape. I didn't notice that. Yeah, I guess it kind of does. It's still, I don't know. It doesn't seem like bear to me. Maybe its ears are too far apart. I don't know. Let's look at it. Yeah. I can't even say Lil about Alfie. He's not a little nothing. I mean, his paws are small. He's pretty cute. He is the biggest cat I've ever seen, though, for sure. He's healthy and delightful. Oh, and here's another spoon. You guys know how much I like a spoon. This one is so that you can get in there and get, like, if you have, so I grind up herbs and pigments, and I was like, how come I'm trying to get into the, I have these corn, like it's, what is that little container? So I'll shake them into containers like this, but they have the divided container. And if you're trying to get all the pigment or beads, this would be good to get in there and get them all out. See that? Scrape it all out. Because the rounded one, rounded is not good for corners. We went to an estate sale on Friday, and it was pretty epic. It was like this guy had been collecting for 40 years, and we just had Joanne and Azalea and I, we went there early in the morning, and it was so fun to look at this guy's collection. It was insane how much. It basically was like in a whole antique store worth of stuff. So, oh, and then I started this on a live. This is supposed to be a red panda. Oh, Wendy says, got to go outside and take a look by your garbage. Yeah, that's true. I could. They're always out there tearing up the trash and making a mess. And you know what? They're not afraid of anything. They don't run away when you're like, hey, what are you doing? They just look at you like, is this the state of your trash? Is this what you're serving? They're unimpressed. Very unimpressed. All right, I'm going to get my favorite tool. Oh, I was showing this. I don't know why I didn't mold this yet. I don't know if people would like it. It's supposed to be maybe like an earring component. I don't love it. I already signed it like I love it, but I don't love it. So, I don't know. There's something I don't love about it. Maybe it's like 4 across, and maybe it should be not even. I don't know. Oh, Wendy says, I'll bet you could sell a boatload of those little shovels and spoon fork at Tucson. Maybe. I don't know if I'll get it done by that time. You never know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm going to try to get some things done. I want to have this so I can take it with me. But anyway, this I was thinking for like an earring. And if you can imagine it, like a little star coming out of there and just something. Yeah, Wendy, I know it should be 3 across. The 4, or maybe 5. Because I wanted to have, if you can picture it, chain coming down and a briolette. Like when I had it was 3. And then it just looked it just didn't look that plush. And I wanted to have like a whole like tinkling effect of having a rain kind of feeling. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just add another one, or I'll just wait. There's no rush on that. And then this is one I'm working on here. A little snail. I have to figure out how to do this, the antenna or eye stalks, so that they don't catch on everything. Because I thought that'd make a cute ring. Wouldn't that make a cute ring? Maybe. You never know what's going to be cute. So anyway, today we have some silver, and I thought since we're having silver, I'll show some of the method of how we get to those silvers. Wendy says you could make them drop shaped. Oh, like the holes as like little teardrops. Yeah, that's a cute idea. It's very cute. And then this is kind of like, this is a good one for seed beads. So I got into making a loom bracelet, and I made some with linen, and I found that I couldn't find many attachments that I liked, and I thought this would make a good one. I don't have the sample over here. Maybe I do, and I don't know what I did with it. Thought I brought all those up here. I'm glancing around. I don't see the one. I probably just put them in my room and I forgot. So I have been thinking maybe an eye on this, but then I thought maybe it should be something more folkloric, you know, because the eye, you would even see that if you had like a ribbon. Let me see what that would look like. A piece of ribbon over here. We'll look at it. Okay, so this could be, in my mind, I was thinking of this for leather or cloth or something like that. So this is let me get it. Get in there. Maybe I'll just finish this up today. So that's one side. You can either sew it or imagine it as a loomed bead arrangement. Okay, and then this is the side. It'll be like this. So more for a bracelet, I think. All right. So it's like this. And in metal, that'd be very nice and sturdy. So this is what you'd be left with. You wouldn't see the rest of it. I mean, you'd see all this. And I guess that's eye-shaped. I don't know. It's might be overplayed. But now that I look at it, I can see where I want to attach that a little firmer or more sturdily, I guess. I don't know if the best. Like this little shape in here could connect a little bit more, so it add a little bit more strength. But beads or leather with that, I thought would be pretty cool. And maybe a design that's maybe double-sided. I don't know. What's your thoughts, y'all? Any thoughts on that? What you would think would be a good, let's see what that would look like. We'll put on this side so I'm not looking at my watch.
What did you mention, double-sided?
This is double-sided. This clasp that I'm working on. It's like an E-clasp. Kind of because it's E-shaped. I'm trying to be very
good.
Yeah, they are very good clasp, I think. Oh, a cute leather choker or a decorative belt. I don't want to break it, so I'm being very gentle. But really, if it did break, it's no big deal.
I'd like a leather choker.
Maybe it's too wide. You think it's too wide? Maybe I can shorten it. I can shorten it through here. I don't know. There's lots of possibilities. That's one of the things that I like about doing wax work is that, say if I made this, I could mold it. And then after the fact, if I didn't love it again later, I could rework it and then make a different variation. Melanie says a manatee design. And then Karen says eye with a bezel stone or a snake. Oh, Kalite says, I like the overall one-part clasp design, an eye, a snake. Yeah, and then Carolyn says, yeah, depending on the size beads, we loom to fit the clasp. Yeah, I do that too. I've made some with linen, and they looked really good. So this is my alcohol lamp. This was made by my friend Rashawn Jones of Desert Lamp Work. I don't know what happened to the cap, so this little tiny juice cup is my cap, even though it doesn't really keep the does not keep the stuff from evaporating. So this inside this is denatured alcohol. And denatured alcohol is used because it's a very clean burning fuel. Okay. And now my desk is getting, I need to go and clean this desk up. I always say that, and I always not do it unless something's happening. I'm trying to aim this so that this line of flame is not going to hit the top of this and cause the phone to short out or damage it in some way. Melanie says, is that a bee? Oh, this is one, my friend Jen gave this to me. She had some of these made in Indonesia a little bit ago. Y'all know Cherry Tree. That's a local business, and I've known Jen for several years. Many years. But recently we've been hanging out. I just noticed this paper towel looks horrendous. But I like to reuse, reduce, and recycle. So I'll use these paper towels until they are too saturated with wax. And I'll put that with this collection. This is stuff that, I'll show this real fast. Or maybe I've shown, I don't remember if I have or not. But I don't know if y'all remember, but I made a polymer clay master of this little frog with his face. And these arrived not too long ago, about 2 weeks, I want to say, maybe 3. And these are the final designs and final stones. So there were some that did not get on that are not going to be made. Like this, you know what? I love it. It's my favorite one. But I know what people are going to say when they look at it. They'll be like, it's cool, but it's not a real stone, because it's not a real stone. This is opalite, and it's glass. That's a synthetic. They treat it to have that kind of milky look, where they call it like milk glass. And so it's basically glass. So that's why I'm not going to do that one. But it is very sweet looking. I'll just keep that for my private collection. If I didn't have to buy them in like sets of like 100, maybe I'd get it. But I don't know that I could move 100 of those. Yeah, he is a moon glow frog. So here's the other ones. So this is a black labradorite. And you know, you don't really see how shimmery it is on camera. It's really pretty. Came out really good. We're making kits, but we'll sell them. I'm working on cards. I have all the cards in a bag over here that I've been working on them for several days, trying to get them perfect. But this is, what's this one? Amazonite, and then who's this green? That's jade. Oh, and here's the moons. Let me see. I'll line them up down here. This is another favorite. This is a red jasper. You can really see the details with this. I think this will probably be the favorite because everybody picks it out. It's exactly the color of a tomato frog. Oh, beautifully detailed. It's exactly like my carving. And the way they do this is they get a 3D scanner, right? And they scan the whole thing so you can get exactly the parameters. And they have this machine that can like trace out the outlines and the details and imitate it on like 10 more. It's pretty amazing. Some high technology stuff. And I thought, so these are the other two. So they're two moons. This one's pink. On the screen, I'm looking up at the screen and it doesn't look as good as what I'm seeing in my hand. But this is a very pale pink rose quartz. And it has that kind of serene little moon face. And on the back it has some beautiful craters. I tried to get the craters close to realistic as I could. And then look at this one in the labradorite. Look how pretty this one came out. So anyway, that's on my to-do list. So these are the 5 stones for the frog. I think they look good. I'm happy with them. And we're going to make kits. And we're going to make So, and we're going to make cards that they sit on. Be lovely. All right, so I'm going to do something with this, and we're going to have it. Oh yeah, this is coming soon too. This is for my finished jewelry. That's what is on the agenda for this little guy, if you were curious what's going to happen with that. Oh, thank you. Carolyn says very cool gemstones. Oh, I'm glad Wendy, I'm glad you are enjoying your black tourmaline. Oh, Dee says, love the green. You know, I do too. I love the green, and I also love the Amazonite blue. I think that came out really cute. It looks just like one of those White's tree frogs. All right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm heating this tool. Did I turn that off? No, it's going. I'm always so terrified that I'm going to end up cracking a screen. So I put this little dot, or divot, I should say, of wax. That is so that I can grab some like this. Get a little bit right there. Oh, Melanie says that Amazonite is gorgeous. And Dee says green is very zen. Yeah, it's a very healing kind of color, I think. All right, I'm going to close up where I thought that piece was, like, a little too much. I think right there. I don't think it needs to be that wide. And I might make it less wide here. Yesterday, we had a really good day. We had a craft day with some of our friends. And it was pretty cool. Sometimes it's nice to hang out with your girlfriends. We did watercolor. I spread out a bunch of paper. And we were just being experimental. It's like no expectation for, like, perfect watercolors, you know. Just making shapes and experimenting with color. And also they would make good backgrounds for Canva or like ads or something. That's what we were making them for. Or photo backgrounds. It's one of the things I make. And I've shown them before. I think we did that a couple weeks ago with black watercolor paper. Now you'll notice I am bracing my hand, because if you float your arms up in the air like this, then what happens is you end up burning yourself. And also, it's just not as steady, and you'll get that crick in the back of your, like, under your shoulder blade from holding your arms up. So take it from me, who's been to the physical therapist for issues with my neck, to brace your arms. I have a special chair that I bought a long time ago, because for a long time, I would just brace my arms against my body and think, oh, this will be perfect. This will solve all the problems and I won't need the chiropractor. But they were like, hey, listen, this is not good, what you're doing. Even though it's better, you still are going to have problems. So I got this special chair. And it has these adjustable arm rests so that I can brace my arms, so that I don't have so many headaches from leaning over my table. I'm going to change this up. And we'll see. I'm getting the shape. So I noticed when I was putting that silk that I didn't love the shape anymore. And just like that, it's kind of a different shape. All right. Oh, thank you. Zandra says, you are so creative. Love your work. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. How do we feel about this now? I'm going to get that. I see that little nub. The idea was to keep it from sliding, but I don't think it will. I looked at a lot of different clasps in my collection, and and I noticed that I don't have anything like this. I mean, I have an E-clasp, but that I made a while ago, and I made one for Kate. And I don't think I sell it. I don't know if she's pretty much the only one that has the decorative E-clasp. But I thought this would be a good one, like more organic shaped, more, I don't know, less, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. I guess to have a more natural shape is a better term for it. Maybe not organic is the wrong way to think about it. Kind of looks like an eye. But it could, it could be more freeform. Maybe it does this side kind of reminds me of a snake. But you know what? Not everybody's into snakes. In real life, they kind of fill me with dread and horror. Just because, they don't have any arms or legs, and they have that kind of like shark-like stare. But I'm getting less scared of them. I saw one over the summer, and I didn't scream my head off like I may have done in the past, because that's embarrassing when you do that, scare the life out of people, and then you're like, oh, it was a rat snake. You'd get some looks here in Asheville for sure. All right, what do you guys think of this shape? Let's test it and see what it looks like. It's a little warm. I don't want to break the little arm on there. Let's test it out and see how it looks. We were talking about bell sleeves as I was making a sweater, and it reminded me of the time when I wore these bell sleeves on this, like, 3/4 sleeve, kind of like a sweatshirt, but not. And I caught so many things on fire because I kept reaching past my lamp, and the sleeve was, it kept catching and smoldering, and I was like, I'm going to end up catching the whole house on fire. Sandy says, had a bad experience with a snake. Yeah. I don't like spiders either, but I'm getting to where I'm not like so horrified. Because sometimes it can be, I feel like it's not doing yourself anything good to freak out. That's a little bit better, I think. Kind of like facing your fears. Yeah, I don't know. And part of me wants to hollow that out a little. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Maybe it doesn't have to be so fit right there or so bulbous. I'm going to change that shape. Yeah, we had a good weekend. Greg made a beef stew, and then Joanne, she worked as a pastry chef with a lady for a while when she lived in New York, and made the most delicious angel food cake with pastry cream, blackberries, and strawberries. And then Jen made a thing of this cast iron skillet full of brie, tomatoes, and these little toasts, and that was a pretty big hit. I don't usually do that. We usually just eat the brie. And then we had another person, our friend Kristen. She showed up. She's a local photographer. And she was like, she really liked Azalea's look. She's like, Azalea could be on the model network. She organizes models for photography. And she showed me some of her videos that she had helped produced.
That's generous of her.
About you?
Yeah.
Oh no, she liked your look. She said you have she said she just loves your look and your face.
I didn't hear her say that. She complimented my hair though.
She texted it to me.
Oh.
She was like, I just loved it. She asked, she goes, she said it, but I don't think you heard her. She's like, if she would want to be interested, and I said, I'll ask her.
That's It's super cool of her.
Oh, she's a nice lady. We actually met. I met many of my friends doing local shows. She's one of my customers, and she bought one of my necklaces. Maybe she brought one back that needed a little bit of a repair. I didn't really need the repair, but she was concerned that it was maybe having a thin spot. And I was like, I'll fix that. It doesn't really need any, and that made me happy because she'd had it for many years, and I looked at it and it looked really good, except for one spot that had pulled a little bit, but it wasn't fraying or anything. Made me happy. I was like, well, this is after 6 years of wear. This is good. Anyway, she was one of my finished jewelry customers. And we were talking about collaborating and making some videos for YouTube, getting some musicians together and doing some, maybe some hippy dippy types of things where I could have the fun of making costumes and masks and things and having the kids frog around outside. We'll put a filter on it. It'll look good. What I'm describing sounds horrendous, but if you could see the image in my mind, you'd be like, wow, that's cool. That's the next thing. Maybe there'll be a way that you could be like, here's what's in my mind right now. And then you could show it on like a TV screen. Kalite says, on the hook side, maybe have the closed end line up with the other end. Yeah, that's probably good thinking. Yeah, because it does slide over. Maybe I will do that. But the only thing is this side doesn't, I don't know, maybe. Then it's kind of an octopi or squid shape. But it would be more balanced, I guess. I guess balanced is the right word. Oh, D says, boho clothing is awesome, but not conducive to crafting sometimes. Yeah, I get it. I am trying. I want to keep up with the comments. Sometimes it's hard to watch the comments and sculpt this.
I can read the comments for you. I'll move over there.
Well, there's not many. I've got this one. Twilite says,
Kalite says, on the hook side, maybe have the closed end line up with the other end.
Yeah, as soon as I read that, I was like, yeah, of course.
This will actually be convenient for me to sit here.
I like that. That's a good point. That's a little bit better. Now, how do we feel about it? Wendy says, so you're going to show us getting the wax ready process for casting. That's this. That's what we're doing right now. Exactly so. To get it ready, there's nothing. Well, you tree it up into a thing that will fit in the investment mold. I've shown a little bit of that on certain times. Usually that's when I bring in Greg to do the talking for that. And he doesn't mind showing the process, but it's not like a continuous, it's not a short process. And there's lots of pauses of waiting. Like you'll make, like it takes a long time to do the tree. I would love to get a 3D scanner and scan these. I mean, I don't know if that would work. I'm assuming that's how it works, where you can scan your thing or your item, and then you can print it. And I would love to be able to print out trees already done, because then you don't have to sit there and attach these guys to. When I'm talking about a tree, what you do is this. It's kind of hard to describe. You have like a post, and then you have the pieces off of it with, see how this has a little stick on it? This is where the metal will flow into, and it will eventually be when it's cast, you cut this part off, but that's how the metal will flow into the piece itself. And so what you do is you have this is the stump or the tree of the stump, or tree stump, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. But you attach these pieces, we'll attach it like this. and because it's sticky wax. And then you'd add another piece, pretend like that one. You'd have them all on here, and you line them up, and there's like as many as you can fit, and they have to fit within a parameter of like 5 inches across, maybe 4, and then this deep, that deep. It fits into our casting machine, and then you burn out the wax from the mold. It's like a plaster, and then once it's burnt out, you pour molten metal in it. So the entire process takes a day or two. You have to let the plaster set up, and you burn it out in the kiln. So there's a lot of steps where you don't see the steps because it's inside the kiln, or it's being burnt. It's waiting to set up. It's a neat process. It's very magical, but there's a lot of boring parts of waiting in between. And I told Azalea, I said, we need to organize our videos on YouTube so that they're easily searchable.
I can do that tomorrow.
So that they're searchable? Because right now there's no way to search them.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's one of the hard things. So we have shown casting and molding and different things, but we just have to figure out how to make it easier to navigate. Because as it is now, it's just in like live, you can see the lives, but you'd have to know what was happening on each one. But that's a nicer shape. But now I've made it into the E-clasp. I don't know. Let me see what I looked down and I didn't see that. Carolyn says, did you make a class like that for Kate's? Yes, I did. That's enough. And then as I'm looking at it, I'm basically recreating it because I was trying to make it different, and now I've basically made the same thing. So I'll change it. I'll look at the clasp. It's funny how you can just keep making the same thing over and over.
Dee says, I have your stag pendant from some time ago I made a necklace from. A lot of compliments for your design.
Oh, thank you. I like hearing that. Maybe I could make this one more like faceted. I'll round it off a little, I think. Let's see if that makes it look any different.
Wendy, I don't know what that is. What's going on with your comments? Maybe I know this is basic answer, but maybe try to refresh it and it'll go back to normal, or close out Facebook and hop back on.
Maybe she's not on Facebook.
Well, she is, Wendy Romanoff.
Oh, you can see that she's on Facebook.
They have a little icon next to their name or next to their profile picture showing if they're a viewer on Facebook or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Caroline asks, so that would work with leather too.
I've used this type of thing. This is the main reason, because I use leather with my loomed items, because you can use beads going in directly, but I think it looks prettier when it has a kind of like a buffer of leather. It's like easier, at least for me, to take off and on the clasp or on and off the bracelet or piece. But you could use whatever you wanted to. I think I need to make that a little bit wider. It's pretty fun to make what you need. I think that's one of the things that's got me started making in the first place. When I was Azalea's age and learning about beading, I went to the store called Byzantium in Columbus, Ohio. It's not there now, but boy, was it a good, really good bead store. It always smelled like Nag Champa. That's how you pronounce that. They were always burning incense in there. It was funny because that was the first time I ever smelled incense. Now I burn it nonstop. Well, I burn it when it's time to work. It's like my brain's signal. It's like, okay, time to work. You burn the incense. Time to get busy. I'm going to use some wax on that. Some files. Files are your friends. The wider middle portion allows for design possibilities. Yeah, I wonder what I'm going to put in there. No. What do you guys think would look good in this middle part? I basically recreated that E-clasp.
Snake.
Yeah, people said snake, and then I don't know if I want a snake. I know it's Year of the Snake.
Might be trending.
I know. But I have so many snake things. Maybe something, I don't know. I have to think about it. I'll wait to see what other folks say in the comments. If anybody has like a really good idea with it.
Something slender that would fit in the middle.
Oh, Caroline says, my order with the octopus and mermaid clasp arrived with the seafoam bead bag you added. So many pretty beads. Thank you. Oh, that makes me happy. You guys should see some of the beads that I acquired during this antique sale. I was pretty delighted. I haven't had a chance to process them yet, but I will show. Oh, Wendy says, maybe ivy leaf string. I like that. A file is good because you can kind of get in there and shape it kind of like how I'm doing it with a pencil. Melanie says some pretty roses. That's nice too, like flowers. I saw a plate at that estate sale that had it was like a botanical collection. I was going to get some, but each plate was $26, and I was like, that's a little rich for my blood. None of my plates and dishes match. And you can barely even close the door in my cupboard. But it's okay. I like it. Wendy loves estate sales. Do you? Hey, listen, next time you're in town, we'll go. We'll find out and we'll go to one. I went to one over, it was like, there was one, I almost died. I was like, Azalea, we've got to go to this one. It was like a person like me that was like a multi-crafter, and they had like a sewing room, they had wool, they pretty much, it was pretty much me. But, and I was buying stuff that was just, I'm like, I have everything here, but now I have two of it. Not quite that much, but I did come away with a lot more felting supplies and wool and fabric. It was awesome. And I got silk. We got all the silk fabric. Boy, it was a glorious day for estate sales for us. So there's a brush that you use. A lot of people will use it, and they'll use it like this. This is the traditional way. So you take a brass brush, and you're supposed to do this. This is how you're supposed to do it, right? But you know what I hate? I hate the crumbs that get all over. So I end up doing this. Wendy says, is there a risk of breaking the piece when you're filing? And yes, I will go with you. Oh, good. That's fun. You'll have a good time. We pile in the car, and I'm like, all right, ladies, the bus leaves at 9. And I basically need to get a bigger car, because then we can fit more of us in there. It's good times. Yes, you can break it. It does happen on occasion. I've broken many a wax piece. But if you break it, you know what? It's no big deal. You heat up the tool and you can reattach. It's no problem. And it melts right on there. That's the good difference between the main and most wonderful difference between using something like polymer, which is what I started with. And now I barely ever use polymer clay for my masters. Why would you when there's such a forgiving thing as wax? You break it, you just melt it back together. You can't really do that with polymer. You got to go in there and reattach it with like liquid polymer or something. And then even then, it doesn't want to do it. It's kind of persnickety. Hey, there's a word I haven't heard myself say in a while. So it's kind of like an almond. Doesn't it look like an almond?
Almond?
Like an almond shape. You could lay an almond right on top of it and it would cover it.
That's cute.
And it could be, you know what? It could be an interesting way to clasp a sweater, possibly. Maybe you have it at the top and it's attached like this and it has a little loop that collects it right here. June says, are you planning on making Tucson boxes again? You know what, June, we are. Our friend Ann Gardan sent us a delightful assortment of all her colors. And so I was having so much fun looking at them and matching and pairing. And I was like, this is going to be so fun picking and having like matching up the colors. So I wanted to do a couple different boxes, a couple different sets of things, and different price points, you know, because you never know what people will want. And it's just sometimes it can be difficult to know what to get. I mean, I know what I want, and I'm gonna get for myself like the things that I'm drawn to that I know that have traditionally folks have enjoyed. And sometimes you just have faith that people will like what you like. Because sometimes it doesn't always happen, and then you end up sitting on it. And every time I think of that, I think of this time we got a bunch of pink opal. And at the time, I loved it. And then I got tired of it real quick. It's looking better. I've rounded it off. It's no longer squared off. Oh, my goodness. It's already 46 minutes, and we have not even done the lots or the live sale. I'm going to start cooking with gas here and get the speedy and get this a little bit further along. There's another trick. Where is it? With the I have a trick with pantyhose that I learned from one of my groups that I'm in on Facebook to get all the crumbs off.
Pantyhose. Huh?
Yeah, you use pantyhose to buff the surface because it's the nylon. It's like fine grit not sandpaper. Sandpaper is not the right word. It's not sanding. It's grabbing the little burrs, and the burrs are these little pieces right here that come off. Wendy says, I may need to come and help you sort. Oh, yes, you will love it. You will love to sort. That was fun. I like having friends over. And the other day, I spent the entire day doing I was trying to write. I don't know if anybody else has done this, where you've written a grant proposal. And the Center of Craft had this thing where they were giving away, or not, I say giving away, it's grants. So it's like they had 30 grants. I don't remember what the exact amounts were, but anyway, one of them, I think the big ones for 10 grand. And boy, it was kind of like, what would you do? And I was like, listen, here's what I would do. And it was pretty fun to come up with the and when I say fun, basically I was like, well, I would get equipment that's, you know, updated, because our equipment's pretty old. And I hesitate to let people see the whole process and come in and watch, because when he does the casting, when it's time to release the centrifuge so it spins, you've probably seen it at your local dentist office, because that's how it's still made the same way, like casting, whether you're casting it for a tooth or for gold or silver, it's still, you'll use a centrifuge or you'll use a vacuum chamber. And ours, when it's so old that when it's time to cast, he's like, casting, and so we all know to go on the other space or duck. Because there's been times when, you know, it kind of sprays, though, if it breaks. It hasn't broken in a while. Like, we haven't lost a casting in a while, but just for safety, he'll say casting. You know, just like we used to say at the Cultural Arts Center, when anyone was going to use the hammer, you'd say flattening, and then that would like prepare everybody that someone was about to thunder strike some metal, and it wouldn't jar your nerve. You could kind of prepare yourself. So anyway, I had my wish list of, I was like, a new centrifuge, a new kiln that doesn't, you know, the kiln, ever since Helene, I don't know, I think there's some water damage or something with the electrical, but it's very finicky. I was like, it was fun to come up with the list. And the best part of it is that there's a residency program that you would share space with 6 other people. And I was like, I would have so much fun with this. It'd be like we would be crafting and getting people to come over and craft pretty much nonstop. I was like, I don't know if we'll get anything done, but usually with a residency, you have to do something that's for the center, or wherever you're. Like you either do a painting or you do a series or what have you. So anyway, that's what I was doing the other day is I did a grant proposal. Oh, look, I just set that hot tool right down on the top of it. What do you know? Yeah. So I use a toothbrush to get the little burrs. And now I've made basically the same E-clasp. This looks just like the first one I made. I'll have to think about how to get it. Maybe if I did a flower design, we'll see. Oh, I see Anne Garden. She says, I'm making a palette of colors for myself as well for shopping. Thanks for the idea. Oh, yes. I'm looking forward to that. I like matching things up and making color families. I don't know how they decide who's going to be in charge of the Pantone colors, but I feel like I could do that job. I could come up with doing those palettes. That would be a lot of fun for me. And I would have for sure chosen a different image of that custard that they pictured, that mousse. I've been like, listen, y'all, we need a better photo of mousse. Like this upshot doesn't even look like mousse. I mean, I guess it does. But that's not even, I don't feel like that's even the color of chocolate mousse. Just weird. I would have named that like baby bear fur. That'd sound better. Bear fur. Brown bear. Even like cashmere would have been a better name for it.
Yeah, that would have been real nice.
Because then it would get you kind of in the mood for, you'd be thinking about some warm things.
Warm, soft cat belly.
Not to be critical. I don't even mind the color. I just don't like the presentation of it. And that's being kind of funny about it. I don't mind it at all. That's kind of fun. Color of the year. Love colors anyway. All right, I'm going to do a basic, like something quick right here. And we'll see what happens, like the first thing. I hope I don't do the same thing that I did before. I'm going to round it all off so it's at least rounded. And it's not, the one that I previously made was real squared off. Like it was real, like these, it had corners, so it had a more faceted shape. But this time I'm going to make it more rounded off, sleek. And it would look good in bronze. There was an artist that I saw that made something, it didn't look like this. It was more like a clothespin. So when I say it was similar in that it was like a one-piece clasp. But that was about as similar as it was. That's where the similarity ended, is that it was like a one-piece. Or maybe, let's see. I'm going to do this line here. Maybe it's like a sprout. These little things coming out. Like a lily. And the best part about wax is if I don't like it, it's a piece of cake to change it. So anyway, that Center for Craft thing, that grant that I was working on, it was pretty cool, and I really would love to have a space that I could share, and I just love hosting these craft events at the house, and of different ages. So I think to me, I feel like it's pretty good to have different ages. Like when we had our craft day on Saturday, one person, I think Annalise is 17, and then Azalea was like the next youngest. And then I think I'm the oldest. Because I think I know I'm older than Jen. So that was...
Joanne's older than you.
Oh, by a few years. She does, we look like we're the same age, I feel like. All right, so that side, let's see. Looks good. But I shared a story on that grant of when I was young. I went to one summer I spent with my grandparents in Piggott, Arkansas. And so my sister and my cousins, we went to, on Sunday afternoons after church, my grandma hosted quilting circles. And I don't know if y'all ever been to a quilting circle, but you go and get these sawhorses and like 2x4s. And depending on the size of the quilt, you kind of unroll it and everybody sits and you work on it section by section. So it's not spread out all at once. They spread it out after to kind of get a look at the work, but it's rolled up for the most part. And everybody sits around together and there's probably 10, 15 people working on it. And the way it works is each person gets a turn. You make your quilt top and then everyone takes turns at their top. Everyone works on one quilt, then they work on another one after the one is finished. And so during that summer, we worked on every Sunday, we'd go and help work on different quilts. And I was probably, I think, younger than 10. And, it was good to learn how to do, I learned how to do really small stitches. And the guideline was that they would measure it. So you had they'd take this little ruler and you had 10 stitches per inch. And that doesn't sound very small, but it was small. And my cousin, it was so funny. She was always having to rip her stitches out. And I would get on her last nerve. And I'd be like, Margaret, you just have to stitch smaller. And she'd be like, shut it. And we couldn't wait to go outside and be done with quilting. I never did quilt much after that, but I know how to do it. But the thing was that was kind of interesting, and what I learned too was how these women work together. You're working together, but you're also talking to each other. And there were other young people that were, I guess, forced by their grandparents to show up. And maybe not. We weren't forced. We enjoyed it. But I don't know. I just felt like I learned a lot of things that didn't have anything to do with quilting.
And Gardan wants to know, when is a good month to visit Asheville weather-wise?
I would say
October.
The best time is in the fall because we have a beautiful long fall. And it's warm and nice. Summertime, it's nice here. I mean, it's not nice right now because it's really cold and blustery. But spring is good. We have a beautiful springtime. But I think the nicest time is early fall. It's probably my favorite time of year here because it's warm and then the leaves are changing.
Oh yeah, September is a perfect month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the people come from all over the world because you know what? It's spectacular, like the leaves. But it is more expensive. So I will say that. So summer's a good time. If you're not you're in New York area, so you already probably get your fill of
cold.
Well, cold, but also leaves, beautiful leaves. Otter fur, that's cute. We're going to rename them the color of the year. So I have this so far. It's kind of like Lily of the Valley. Am I in focus? I haven't looked up for a minute. I've been hyper focused on this. But if I don't like it, that's the beauty of wax, is that you can just you can move on. I've been going on for an hour. All right, I'm gonna tuck this in. Okay, so we worked on this class. It's coming soon. I think that looks pretty good, but I may go in with a floral design. And you know what else? You can have 2 designs, so it can be a choose your own adventure. I'm happy with that shape, though. What do y'all think? You think that shape looks good? I think it looks pretty good. It's, I mean, and it turned into another E clasp. But what do you do? All right, I'm going to tuck this stuff in and show the wax, or not wax, the silver that we have, that we worked on all week. One thing that I'm going to do that's coming soon is I'm going to finish this. I have 4 others, and I'm trying to get them done for Tucson, because my hope is that I can wear them, and then someone's like, oh my, do you want to sell that item, or would you like to be included in this group show, or some such business? You know, you never know, like opportunities. And I can be like, oh yes, check this out. So that's my goal, is to have this done in time for Tucson. And I will show. I'm going to do links, cast links, and some really pretty stones that I've been sitting on for a while. Oh, thank you, my friends. Oh, Kalite says, you have space to put a word on the back. Yeah, that's true. I wonder what, yeah, it could be something like, I have to think about it. You'd want to, if the word, something to do with keeping things secure, maybe, or like a protection type thing, you know, so your beads don't come up, like your beads don't fall down. I'm going to slide this out of the way. Oh, thank you, Melanie. How much longer till Tucson? We leave on the 29th. That is when we are leaving. And that is the time that we will, let's see.
I tried to keep it separate from the bronze.
I wonder what's the, okay. A lot of these are one time, or one part. Okay, so this is, I have one. Oh, C. Grace is looking for Bob. You know, I don't know that, if you're looking for Bob, he lives in Antioch, California. But I don't think he's gone to a show in a long time. It's been probably 10 years. Okay, so there's only one of this. It's kind of heavy, and it's called the Unbreakable Heart. This is one of my very first designs, and I told Greg, I said, let's do some of the old school type things. So there's sterling? It's sterling.
Heavy.
It is heavy. And so on the back it says Unbreakable. This is one of my very first designs, and it is lot 467, and it is $48. Ann says, are you driving or flying? We are flying this time, because when we drive, that's more like you're going to go and you're bringing back big stuff. And so I don't know that we're not going to bring big stuff, like big crystals or anything like that. Okay, so if you're interested, you can email, or you can put in the comments section your name and the lot number if you've never shopped with us before. That's one of our items. There's only one of those. And LOL, flying is keeping you on a budget. I wish. I have a budget, and I got to stick to it, because that, when the money runs out, that's the budget. Okay, so then we have this little Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. Y'all probably remember that episode of X-Files when Scully gets that tattoo that has the rye in the ink, and it makes her act wild. She didn't get a desk. Remember that episode? She got an Ouroboros, which is also the logo of that show called Millennium. It was a little too scary for me. But it's detailed all the way around. I made this, so that first I made it as a ring, and I was like, look at that, perfectly, that fits me. And then I decided, hey, guess what? We cast in pewter, and it's a very good charm ring. So I've used this multiple times as a charm ring. And the easiest way is to attach like a cord loop, like so. You could do leather, silk, what have you, just like this. And then you can dangle your charms on chain, or you could even make them removable if you put little lobster claws or spring clasps to make a removable charm. But that's how you use that. Or it could be a link like this. You can hold between two. There's a lot of potential. I love a ring element. So that one was $4.83 and it's $26 and I have one. So the reason we do like onesies and twosies on these is to see if people like it or not. You know what I mean? So sometimes you don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to spend a lot of silver because silver's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. It used to be. Well, it's never been cheap. But this one's a good one. Look at this is a big one. This says family, home. It's one of our best sellers through the years. This is an oldie but a goodie. It's one of our very first. This is one Greg carved probably 18, 19 years ago. It's one of his first carvings. It's 62. I know it sounds like a fortune, but this, look how, that's a solid, it's like an ingot. It's like 2 ingots of silver. That's lot 482. Yeah, this one I particularly think would be gorgeous with a strung this way with a wire and a tassel of beads. I think it looks really beautiful. So that is $4.82. All right, we've got this gargoyle here. This is another one that Greg made. Look at the detail on it. This one I think would be good for like, look how cute his face is. His little hands are even detailed. He's got little ears. So this one is, there's only one of this one. Lot 479, it's 48. And it's a nice heavy duty bead. It's like for Notre Dame, you know, all those beautiful gargoyles that were there to protect the church. Here's another one. Originally, they were for like rain gussets, and it was a way for the monks that were working on the church to be. Bonnie says the Sundance silver charms are way more expensive. Yeah, and they're not even made here. That's the funny part about it. They are. I have seen it, and I was like, man, they're not even, like, it's like so much smaller and less silver. But that's just the way it goes. They can, but they have a more of a, like, I guess that people are used to it or something. Okay, so this is the nest bead. It says home on the back on a little leaf. That's 3 little silver eggs, and it's silver. You know what? That I made this. This is exactly the size of a hummingbird nest that I saw a few years ago. And by a few years, I mean like 15, 16 years ago. And then I carved this directly after. This is $4.77. And it is exactly the size of a tiny hummingbird nest. You wouldn't even believe it. It was this small. It was so cute. I almost died. And there are 2 of them. Oh, and I've made these before. We've had these. This is one that we've had a few times in the last, because we've had a few folks ask for more of these because they sold pretty well. So this is the tiny little, I want to call it, I should just call this the pearl skull, because the reason I made this is so that it would sit on your finger. Let me see. There was this Japanese artist, and I've mentioned it before. I should drop it in. Should just link it in the group. The silk's not going to work. Let's see. There's some soft flex. So this artist that I follow on Instagram makes rings and carves pearls, and I want one, but I don't. But they're like $600, and the wire that they're on is the 24 karat gold, and they're tied in like a little bow tie. And they sit like this. It's so cute. And I thought, man, they look like silver. So I made my own skull, because I know people say, oh, you're copying, but guess what? There's no such thing as copying when it comes to making a bead and making a skull bead. Nobody has the copyright on that. Someone tried to tell me once, it was a pretty funny story. They came up to my booth and they say, I see you have a frog here on your booth. And they're like, do you know, does Bob Burkett know that you're doing this? And I said, hey, Bob, did you know that I made this frog bead? And he goes, of course, I helped you mold it. And the gal was like, and he's like, you can't copyright an animal. And that's been kind of the thing where it's kind of funny. Like people are like, hey, I made that first. And it's like, listen, if it's in the natural world, you can't play dibs unless it's like a direct molded copy. Just for your own information, if you're wondering. There's no way to copyright a skull or frog.
They were carving that in like ancient Mesopotamian.
Yeah,
like
you can. There's no way to do it where you could do that. So, My Beaded Bliss says, wire wrap it on memory wiring. You could do that. I haven't done it, even though I made it for that purpose. I have not done it. But what I have done is I put this on my treasure necklaces. So it looks really good with that. It's kind of a surprise because it looks like a pearl from this angle. But sometimes when it turns up, it's like, surprise, it's a little face. So this one is lot 475. Carolyn says, we can borrow design elements. Well, it's not even borrowing. It's just, it's exists. You can't copyright something that exists in nature. It's impossible. 475 is sterling. Yes, I do carry this. If you're interested and you don't want to pay $24 for it and you're more interested in the pewter version, I have this in pewter. But it's magical in sterling because that's just, silver. It has a quality to it that is different. Even though our pewter definitely it's the highest quality pewter. There's no zinc or nickel or anything in it. It's pretty much the nicest pewter you can alloy. We make it in the garage. So yes, this is sterling. And you could for sure put liver of sulfur and you can get that rainbow patina on it. My Beaded Bliss says, your carving is done by you and it is not identical to anyone else's. Everyone has different techniques. That is true. That is true. They just, they were being protective of Bob, and I get it. They didn't want anyone to copy him. But, just as someone else can carve a skull or they can carve a mermaid, that's the thing. Unless somebody is directly molding it and, casting your piece, then it's all, it's all fair. You can't copyright a frog because frogs, they existed before I ever came along and carved it. This looks particularly good in bronze. So this is a bronze piece. This is 40. It's 468. I have 2 of them. This came out particularly lovely. This is a new one from this collection this year. I made this probably pre-Helene. So that was about 5. Oh no, we have this. This was right before we left for Fresno. So whenever that was. So anyway, this is a little bronze frog. He's hyper detailed. He sits like this. There's his face. It's 40. If you would like a bronze frog, 468. Very detailed. So there are 2 of those if you're interested. Okay, here's one in bronze. This is $22, $474. This is the unbreakable. What do I call this? Bronze heart and key toggle. And it's a little key that opens up this little necklace. And I use this on my treasure necklaces all the time. The good part about this, I don't know if you can see this, but there are 4 holes on this, not including the middle one. So wherever your connection point, if you want to connect it here, you can. If you want to connect it here, it's all good. So wherever you connect it, that's your choice. It's like a choose your own adventure. And then from the rest of it, you can hang things. That's what's good about that. So I have one of these, and it's $474. So let me just explain how this works. A lot of times I'll make 1 or 2 of something because I don't, excuse me, I don't know what people are going to say, if they're going to like it or not. So I try to keep the amounts to a manageable amount. And then if we get people saying, oh, I want it, and there's like a bunch of people in the comments and I only have the one, then I'll make a note and then we'll make more the next time we're casting. So that's how that works. So this is a little mystical snake, Year of the Snake. He has all kinds of little magical symbols on his body. Like there's a little, this is like a sun shape. These are a bunch of ancient symbols. But the majority of it, and there's some little eye shapes here, and a moon and a feather. Oh no, that's a little arrow and some stars. So this one's more. It's $78 for this bead. It's a big bead. This is $476. $476. $78. It's heavy. It's a big, heavy bead. This one, I would say, would be a good one that if you had a nice, like this is a very masculine piece. I sell this to the men folk at shows. And if you put this one, if you could do the Sundance style, leather cord or something, even a dark colored kumihimo and maybe some spacers, it would be a very nice masculine necklace. So this is $476. I have 2 available. If you're watching this on replay, you can message us and we can let you know what we have available, if someone's picked it or not. Sometimes people don't pick them, and then I'll put them in my finished jewelry, or someone else later will say, hey, like maybe a few days later, and they'll pick it up. But it doesn't have to be now, is what I'm saying. Yeah, Carolyn says, I could see that with a beaded tassel French. Yeah, it could be. Oh, I see our friend Robin. Hello, Robin. Thank you for joining us. All right. This one is the Day of the Dead skull. This is kind of a fun skull piece that has a really pretty design on it. It's carved all the way around, detailed. Its face. This is a popular one in pewter. I sell a lot of this in my pewter collection. In silver, it's delightful, of course. It has that soft yellowish golden glow of sterling, like nice sterling. The way you can tell it is that it has a warmer quality than pewter or platinum. Platinum is more gray. Pewter is I wouldn't say gray. I would say it's just cooler. Here, let me show you the difference. Do you want to see the difference in it? So this is pewter, and then here's the difference. You can see it. That's silver there, but here you can see a little bit better. It's kind of bluish, I guess. That's the main thing. This is more oxidized, but see how pewter has a little bit more of a cool tone to it, whereas silver, the shadows are warmer. All right, I have here this one. Oh, this is one I haven't seen in a minute. This is a little kitty I made a long time ago. So we pulled out things we haven't made in a long time. Look at its little paws. Isn't it darling? You know, it's like foreshadowing because I made this before I had Marty, but it looks just like him. Don't you think? Look at the little rounded bear ears and the big paws. So I have one of these. And this is lot 481. It's 50. This one would be for sure a good one with a beaded tassel.
There was some silver in there that I considered keeping secretly.
You know what? I always think about keeping it secretly. You should see the keeping it secret box that I have on my desk. It is healthy and heavy.
Sometimes when we do lot sales and I'm filling the orders later and I can't find something, then I know that it probably found its way into your pocket.
Oh, that does happen. Carolyn says, am I seeing dinosaurs on the left side of your table? Azalea.
Dinosaurs?
What dinosaurs?
On the left side?
Oh, no, I see. This is...
Oh, the big old octopus.
This one's good to realign someone's chakras if they're sassing. These, the frogs. This is the collection of frogs. These are coming soon. These are coming soon. We're going to have, this is a collaboration I'm doing with Jen at Cherry Tree. Y'all know Cherry Tree Beads? She's my friend. She lives in Swannanoa, and she's a very good friend of mine. And we were like, listen, let's make something neat together. Okay, look at this little bird, this owl. This one has a little star on his chest. This was like one of my very, very first carvings. I had an obsession with this little owl. This is a little screech owl that when I was at Junior Achievement, and I guess you're 17 when you're at Junior Achievement, and this little screech owl, when we had this display at the, I can't remember where it was held, but anyway, they brought in this guy that brought in all these birds of prey, and I was sitting next to the cage with the screech owl, and he would scoot over really close to the cage and look right into my face. And so I put my finger out to pet his head, and he leaned into the bars and let me scratch his head. And anytime anyone else came over to touch him, he scooched away. He only let me touch him. So after that day, we were like blood brothers. I mean, I never saw him again, but I never forgot about him. And I continued to paint and draw this owl till pretty much yesterday. And today, because I was sketching one on my sketchbook. I always have owls on my brain. Where were we walking, Azalea, where we kept hearing owls?
We were walking at Biltmore.
Oh, is that? Oh, yeah.
We were at Biltmore with Joanne.
Joanne has a season pass at Biltmore, and so if you go after 4 o'clock, you can get in with like a carload of people. You can't go into the house, but you can go to the grounds. And we were pretty much the only folks there, and it was beautiful and eerie, and all these owls. It was like 3 of them. You could hear them hooting and talking to each other. It was delightful. So delightful. I could have stood there all night long, but then we would have been locked in and maybe gotten arrested or something. So this is a little octopus, platypus. Look how cute its face is. I love him. I love a platypus. It's the most weird yet charming little creature. I made this a long time ago. We used to be set up at Beaten Button, very close to our friends from Australia. And I can't think that his name is John. He's a very nice man, but he he was always telling funny stories about being like, his travel stories were always really hilarious. And he challenged me to make a platypus. And so that was my challenge. And I accepted that challenge and I made this. 478, a nice thick sterling platypus. If you know someone that likes that, or maybe you've been to Australia, or you are currently in Australia and you like a platypus, or you just like platypi like I do. Oh, thank you, Anne. She says, you are so good at appreciating the priceless things in life. Oh, that's nice of you to say to me. It's a sweet thing. What a good compliment. This is one Greg made. And you know what? Even though at first I was like, why are you making that? That is so off-brand. So this zombie head has been one of our best sellers for years. For years and years. And I don't complain about it, but it is eerie to me. And it's very detailed. One thing that Greg is good at is he's good at carving details. And I mean, he went in there with all of his efforts to make that brain look very realistic. And so this one has been hand tooled. We carry this in pewter as well. This one's in bronze. We've gone in and scraped out more detail and like basically went in and hand tuned that one. So it's a little bit more work. It's more of a sculpture, really, I would say, because there's so much extra done to this one than the regular pewter one. So this is cast in bronze. It's $473. This one will benefit from, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in there with some patina paints and really make that extra. All right, I have one of this. This is bronze, and this is one of my more popular ones for sure. In pewter, this is always, always, always on the docket. Here, it doesn't look like much like bronze in this light, I guess, because now I'm looking at it, it's more golden. But here's the difference. Let's see the difference. Pewter, bronze. It's a very light bronze. So this one is 472, lot 472, and it says, begin each day with a grateful heart. And you know what? I have a big appreciation now of having gratitude after dealing with Helene and going to bed at like 8 because, the sun just went down and there is nothing left to do. So there's only one of this. And this one would look good on a mala for sure. That would be like magic for a mala. So that is 32. And it's when I feel like I have a more of an appreciation for gratitude to, be very grateful for the things that I have, the people that I have in my life, the friends that I have, all of my art supplies and yarn. And here's one. This is a good one. This is one of my favorite ones that I've made this year. This one says, just begin again. And if you have listened to the Waking Up app by Sam Harris, you'll recognize that. There's like they send quotes every day, like a couple times a day with little meditations for you to think about. And one of them was, just begin again. Just start. What is preventing you from starting over right at this moment of having a good time? Like, why hold on to a bad feeling or a bad mood? Just let it go and let that pass into the past, which it is. It's already in the past as soon as it's over. Why keep reliving it? And so after thinking about that, I made this to kind of remind me. Just begin again. It's 471. All right, I have two more items left. All right, I have some more of these little gremlins. I think there are two. There were several. So I see this one's been here. I've sold them a couple times, I see. So I'm gonna do a slash on this. All right, so how about we'll make this. Let me see how many I have. 2. Let's see. I'll slash it. So this is lot 469, and let's do this one at, I'm going to do it at 18. It's a good deal. If you've been looking for a gizmo, you're a child of the 80s or know someone that's interested in the 80s, like, because the young folk, they're like in it to win it. I told Azalea she was born in the wrong time period. She likes my generation more than her own. Little gizmo, he's fully detailed. Check out his little toes. And even the little bottoms of his feet. And his little butt cheeks. So cute. I would have really liked this as a child. And I know because when I was a kid, I tried to make something after I saw the movie. And it looked not that great. All right, I see. Oh, I have some of these. I'm gonna do a slash on this. So if you've been waiting, so these are kind of time consuming to make. I don't make them in pewter because they're too soft. This is the bird clasp right here. I've made this one for a number of years. Diane says, is that a gremlin? Yes, it is a gremlin. Gizmo, little gizmo. Not what's his face. What's that other one's face? What's that other one's name? He's kind of mean.
I don't remember.
Spike. Spike was the meanie. All right. This one is the bird clasp. It's a classic GreenGirlStudios piece. It's in bronze. I have it listed at 32. I have 4 of these, but I'm going to do a little special. I'm going to do a little special for right now. For my friends out there. And I will do this one. That's 26. That's a good price on that. It's 26. So I have 4. And it's beautiful and it works great. I've been using this one for as long as I've been making clasps. It's a standby for my designs. And you know what? I sell necklaces with that. People like it. All right, my friends, this one ran long, an hour and a half. What? All right, I'm going to figure this out. All right. Thank you all for joining me this evening. And I hope you had fun. I kind of went long on showing waxwork. I don't know what it is about when I'm carving a wax, my brain just goes right into that part of my mind. But anyway, I hope that was fun to watch, see some of the process. We'll show some mold making. Maybe I'll show a mold, and because it's kind of boring to watch, like tree building. But you never know. If you guys are interested in watching something like that, drop me a comment. Let me know that that's of interest. Because you know what? I don't know what people like. I know what I like. Part of that seems not that interesting, but I can't, I don't know what folks will like to see. Oh, I forgot to show this. This is something I'm working on for my friend Jess. Her brother, Robert, has a band called, I think it's called Continuous Signal. They're a Pink Floyd cover band. And they've had this benefit happening I think it's in Big Bear. I'm not positive because I can't go to the concert. So anyway, I'm making a poster for their benefit. This is to kind of spread awareness about octopus, baby octopus, and let people know, hey, maybe, don't eat them as often. I know people like to eat them. And those little octopus balls, my son, he loves them. And I'm all like, dude, they're so smart. Do you really want to eat them? So anyway, this is for a poster. I painted this with gouache, and it's we're gonna make prints of it, and then there's gonna be text down here for the poster. But anyway, I forgot to show. I was gonna show my work of the week, what I've been working on. So anyway, thanks y'all for joining us this evening. I had a good time. I hope you did as well. And we will see you again on Wednesday. We have a live plan for Wednesday, and then we'll be prepping for our trip to Tucson. We will still go live on next Sunday. So, about Tucson, get ready because we will have our Tucson boxes. We will be shopping. It's not going to be like our usual live situation. It's going to be different. I don't know if you saw our thing last year, but we would go on kind of sporadically, and we would just sometimes tour a show. And you never knew what was going to happen. You never knew, if it was going to be, because you'd have to ask people if it's okay to film their stuff. Some people are weird about it. Like maybe they're wanted by the law. I don't know. Anyway, get ready. That's happening next week. We will be tuning in on, I think, the 30th. It will be the first day that we'll be showing some lives. So we will see you Wednesday for a tutorial. And hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Stay warm, stay dry, stay creative. We'll see you. So we love you all out there.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.